Hi there, in this video we're going to be answering the question, what is human design? But very important for me to tell you that I don't want to be answering it in terms of what you can read in a book or what you can read on Wikipedia. I want to give you the perspective of someone who's been working with human design. I've been working with clients, I've been studying it for years, and so I want to tell it to you from the perspective of what it is when I tell a friend at a barbecue, for example, and also what can it do for your life based on what it has done for mine and the hundreds of people that I've worked with. But before I jump into what is human design, I want to welcome you to this channel and welcome you to this project. I've been working and talking about human design on YouTube for a long time, but this is a start of a new era and I'm very excited about it. This is Sunrise Human Design, a new space where I'm going to be working to get human design in a simple, easy, and full of love way out into the world. One of my biggest objectives, apart from helping you to understand your human design in a simple way and those of the people around you, is to start working with moms and parents and teachers so that human design can get to the children, because that is what the founder of human design, Ra Uruhu, used to always say, that this information is for the children. And honestly, it's something that turns my sacral on fire, because if we can help children grow up with less conditioning than we have, then for sure that's going to make for a better world of tomorrow. So welcome to Sunrise Human Design. I'm always happy to hear from you in the comments, whether it's a comment, a question, or anything that you would like me to make a video on. And by the way, if you're curious about me, my name is Trinidad. I share in this channel about human design, and I am a 4/6 emotional generator. All right, so what is human design? The first thing I want to tell you about human design is that it is a self-knowledge tool and it is not a belief system. The second part is super important because you might be one of those people that are a little bit skeptical, like I was getting into human design, where something based on your time of birth, based on the sky and the stars and the planet, can tell you who you are. So this is a really important part where I'm going to tell you human design, you don't need to believe in it and you don't need to really trust in it or anything for it to work for you. All you need to do is listen to the information. If something resonates inside of you, if when I start talking to you about the common conditionings or the common wounds that you're going to have based on your human design and something resonates, then what I just advise you to do is take this information and try it out in your life. That's why in human design, we call it an experiment when you're using human design in your life, because it's about experimenting with the information. If it can do something for you, if you use it and you notice a positive change, then that's amazing, and keep learning, keep using it. But if it doesn't, then maybe it's not for you, or maybe you can focus on a different aspect of it, on one that feels right for the moment. Human design is a self-knowledge tool. It's gonna tell you about your energy. And something great that happens to me when I talk to 99% of the people coming into human design is that a lot of people say, hey, Trini, this isn't something that you're telling me new things about myself. This is really a confirmation of who I've always been, but it does a huge thing for you. Is it takes you from a perspective of, I need to change who I am, or there's these aspects over here that I used to think were wrong with me that actually are exactly how I'm designed to be. And that in itself is a huge thing that it can do for yourself and your journey. So that throws me into the second point that I wanted to make, which is that human design is a tool for self-love. So not only are we going to get into self-knowledge and self-understanding, but in my opinion, the most important thing that human design does for you is that it pushes you closer and closer and closer into self-love. And it is also my opinion and my belief, with what I've seen working with myself and with clients, that 99.9% of our problems and the reasons why we're stuck in our lives is because we don't love and accept ourselves exactly the way we are. This tool, you'll see, has this huge potential of taking you from a mindset and a perspective of feeling like there's so much left to do, so much healing left to do, so many things that you want to accomplish for yourself before you can feel relaxed, before you can get that satisfaction, before you can feel that joy, before you can allow yourself to live. Whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, that is the mindset that society and conditioning has put us in. It doesn't matter if even consciously you're not feeling that way. There's this underlying frequency telling us that things are not okay in the present moment. And in my opinion, human design has this huge ability to shift you closer and closer into the real mindset, which is understanding that everything is as it should be, including the way you're designed, including everything about you, including the way you feel, including that little annoying feeling that you get when somebody says this or that. Everything about you is perfectly designed. And it's only when we start understanding that and looking at ourselves through that lens of self love that things start aligning in our own path and things start kind of coming to us. We start feeling more guided in life and we stop looking outside of ourselves for answers and we shift that perspective inwards. And really, that's when the magic happens. Okay, so more technically speaking, I know you can check this out in a website, but just briefly, human design is kind of this mix of ancient knowledges that when you put them all together, so like astrology, the Chinese I Ching, you have the Kabbalah, and you have modern knowledge as well, like genetics, you put all of this together and it forms the science of differentiation. So, in my opinion, it's a science, it's a body of knowledge that is so much more powerful than its parts, and it has this precision to tell you who you are energetically and what you need energetically for yourself, but also when you're interacting with the world. What are the basic things that you're going to see around and that you've probably already started seeing if you're researching human design about your chart? So, really important for you to know. You're probably going to hear about your type, your strategy, and your authority first. And there's a good reason for this, even though I always advise you to start intuitively wherever, your intuition tells you to start. But starting with your type, strategy, and authority is a really good idea because type, strategy, and authority is the basis of understanding your energy. And actually, it is the part that is really actionable. It is the part that is actually going to change your life. You can know just how your type operates and you can experiment just with your strategy and authority, and that itself can have the hugest impact of your life, guiding you towards being your true self versus being this version of yourself that is conditioned and going through the wrong path all the time. Of course, there's a lot more that you can learn about your human design, and you're probably going to be excited to learn about all the parts. But I really wanted to emphasize that strategy and authority is so, so important. So stick with it for a little bit. Now, it took me about a whole year before I even started understanding in my body what my type, which was waiting to respond, actually meant. So I'll mention this a little bit in the tips at the end of the video, but it's really important that you give these things time, not only to integrate at a mind level, but because they need to integrate at a body level. Apart from strategy, your type, and authority, you're going to have other kind of foundational aspects, which include your profile, which is composed of two different numbers. For example, mine is 46, and that's going to give you a ton of amazing info about who you are, what kind of character you came here to play, how you learn, how you interact with others, what you need. And then one of my favorite parts about your chart is looking at what centers, so what geometrical shapes in your chart, we call those centers, which of those centers are white in your chart, or another way we say it is undefined. This is one of my favorite parts to look at in your chart because it shows us where you're trying to be constantly someone that you're not. And a lot of the times you're trying to be that person that you're not without even noticing, but it's that trying to be someone that you're not that is taking you off track constantly. So in my work, what I've seen is when people learn about their open charts, and it happened to me in my own life too, and I'm still learning about it because human design is a never-ending learning process. It's really so useful to learn about these open centers in your chart because you can stop doing that. You can stop giving yourself a hard time for being who you are. Alright, there's a lot more that comes with human design, so you can learn about all your gates, you can learn about channels, you have your incarnation cross, you have what we call the variables, which some people call them the arrows on top. But this is not the video to explain all of that. What I want to do to end this video is I want to tell you a little bit about how to use human design, or at least my tips coming from this perspective of having used it for some years. So first thing is learn at your own rhythm. Use your intuition to learn. I just told you, hey, learn about your strategy and authority. But if something else calls you, if you find the Gene Keys by Richard Rudd and there's something calling you there, then just use your intuition, because this tool is really about starting to respect what your inner truth is, what your inner voice and this inner guidance that each one of us has is saying. So whenever you have an opportunity to shut down the voices from the outside, or to turn the volume down on what someone else is saying and to listen to what you are saying on the inside, then that is one step closer to living your design. Also, I would say learn from different teachers. Find teachers that you resonate with. And what I would say is find teachers that make you feel like the information is helping you feel empowered. If you're feeling empowered by the information, then there's something good going on. If you're not feeling empowered, then there's probably a perspective that could shift, and maybe that teacher isn't for you. And what I would say is something that's been helpful for me is learn from different teachers. You know, you might have a 5 in your profile and you watch a video about 5 in your profile and you think you know everything you need to know about having a 5 in your profile, but then you're going to hear someone else speak about the 5 in your profile, and it's going to help other things click in your mind and in your body. So just kind of take this as this journey. Know that it is a journey and it's not something that's going to happen from one day to another. And that leads me to the third thing I wanted to say is that give this information time. The founder of human design, Ra Uruhu, said that it took 7 years to completely decondition, or to go through one cycle of deconditioning where you've actually let go of most of the societal imprinting that you have. So, you know, it's not to say that you're not going to see any changes until you get to that 7-year mark, but it actually really takes time. But if you are feeling called to human design and there is something burning inside of you, because I know that that's how it works when someone starts getting interested in human design, then follow this road, because I promise you, if it is the correct road for you, it is totally worth it, and you will see changes as soon as you start living your life more consciously, having your strategy and authority in mind, and understanding, and here is one of the key aspects of human design, that the mind is not who you are. We've been raised and taught in our lives and by society and by the people who've brought us up that we have this mind, and that the way to make decisions is to question things with our minds, to make lists of pros and cons. And we equate this voice in our heads with who we are. But when we start observing our mind and we realize there's someone behind that observing, that voice suddenly loses a bunch of power. And that's when we're starting to get into this back seat, and that is a human design analogy that I can explain in a different video. We start getting into this observer perspective that allows us to take a little bit of a less stressful role in our lives. Suddenly, we're not here to control everything. We're not meant to be these architects figuring out exactly what we need to do and what life needs to look like, and then getting frustrated when it doesn't look the way that we want it to look. We're actually more here of a passenger. We're here to let life guide us and to enjoy the ride. So if you're new to human design, and well, if also you're not new but you're loving learning from my frequency, this is what human design is for me, is learning to enjoy the ride. So just to end, a couple things that you shouldn't do with human design is don't get obsessed with the information. Sure, I did it too. Learn everything you want to learn, read everything you want to read. As I said before, I did it too. But don't think that the ends of it is the information, because it really isn't. Really, what we're trying to do here is to transcend the actual tool and to be a person that is able to be okay with your present moment. At least when I communicate human design to you, that is my goal for you. And hopefully, if you have children, you're transmitting that to them as well. The power of living as ourselves and in our individuality is that we can be relaxed with life, because really, we are designed perfectly to be in this perfect present moment and to enjoy things just the way they are right now. So, welcome to Sunrise Human Design. Part of this project is also operating in Spanish, so if you're someone who speaks Spanish, you can check out my other videos at Trini Cubillos on YouTube. But a lot of English products are coming soon that are aimed at helping you understand your human design, understand the people around you, and hopefully help you guide your kids into being their fullest expression of who they actually are. So welcome, and please know that every comment you send, every question you send is appreciated and turns on my gut to keep communicating with you guys out there. Much love, and until the next video.